Hello everyone, welcome to Climax Recaps. At the beginning of this film, we see a girl named Melanie. She was locked in a room. She hears the footsteps of some soldiers there. Melanie sits on the wheelchair placed in her room. Two military officers arrive there. One of the soldiers ties Melanie with the attached belt of the wheelchair. After this, Melanie is brought out of the room. More children are also seen there. Soldiers were carrying the children in the classroom there. Actually, it was army base where mostly were the soldiers. Some children had also been kept here. Their teacher teaches them in the classroom. Melanie was an exceptional student. Teacher had also liking for her. Children are again sent to their rooms again. These kids are seeming normal, but it was not like this. There were worms when these children were served the food. These kids were fond of eating those worms. And it was so awkward. Next day, teacher had assigned a task to all kids, then teacher asks, who will tell his story? Melanie raises her hand and says, I will. Melanie starts to tell her story. Teacher likes her story too much. Because she was the favorite student of teacher. And teacher had thought, she is exceptional girl. She goes near to her and touches her head. Meanwhile, officer comes into the classroom in fury. Officer asks him, did you touch her face? She tells, I did not touch her face, but head. Do you know how threatening is this? I show you a thing. Officer had smeared a cream on his hand so these kids may not detect the human smell. Now he removes that cream on his hand now. He spreads his hand before the kid. That kid was behaving awkwardly. His teeth were clenching. It was appearing as he will victimize officer right now. Then all kids of the class begin to react in the same way. Officer smears the cream on his hand again and children are brought to their rooms again. That teacher was passing through the rooms of those kids at the same night, where she observes that Melanie has been tied with her wheelchair. No soldier untied Melanie. Teacher calls the soldiers there, but no one comes there. Teacher herself moves into the room of Melanie. And she begins to untie her there. Melanie was feeling something strange with the human smell of her when teacher was untying her. Melanie was also holding a control on herself but in vain. She says, teacher. Go away. Get out of the room. I don't want you to stay in my room. Saying this, she attacks her teacher. Teacher hurriedly comes out of the room and locks it. Teacher begins to smear her cream on her body and face, taking it out. So Melanie may not smell her body. Officer again comes into the room of Melanie on the coming day. He had not carried her into the classroom today. He takes her outside. It is seen here when officer brings Melanie outside. Fence had been adjusted at one side. And there were countless zombies on its opposite side. They had been titled Hungries. Military force was continuously firing at those zombies. Actually, it was that time when a disease, parasitic fungus, had spread throughout the city. Their ability of thinking had lost because of this disease, parasitic fungus. That person used to convert into zombie who were bitten by these zombies. Melanie is brought into a laboratory where she glimpses a jar, where a brain of a kid had been closed. And it was given number 13. This kid used to take classes with Melanie. Now he used to be absent in the class. Melanie understands this kid had been passed through an experiment. Due to this kid has been passed away. So he does not attend the class. Doctor gives Melanie the sleeping injection. And Melanie loses her senses. Before this, doctor did something with her, teacher approaches there. She reaches there, picking a gas cylinder. She says to the doctor, you cannot apply anything on Melanie. In the meantime, soldiers catches the teacher, coming there. Doctor explains to the teacher, I have thought million of times, what are you thinking? I want to manufacture a vaccine which will save the lives of everyone. Why are you not understanding me? Teacher is brought outside where zombies attack all of a sudden. One of the assistants of the doctor is bitten by the zombies. Through this, she had also turned into a zombie. Doctor runs away. Melanie was still on the bed who had been tied with this. But the strange fact was this: Melanie was not appearing visible to her. A normal being could detect other human by its smell when he turns into a zombie. Melanie was not an ordinary human, so zombie was not detecting her smell. Melanie was also alike these zombies. Somehow, Melanie comes outside where she observes that there was commotion in the surroundings. There were zombies everywhere who were victimizing the soldiers. Soldiers were constantly firing at the zombies. Then she glimpses her teacher caught by the two soldiers. When her teacher was releasing herself from those soldiers, then those soldiers assault on that teacher. Seeing this, Melanie runs to her teacher. She bites on the necks of those soldiers, then she loses her consciousness. Teacher takes Melanie in her lap. As zombies were coming to attack teacher, then military vehicles approaches there. Teacher gets in the vehicle, taking Melanie. The doctor was already present there. Who was making vaccine? All zombies were running after their vehicle. But they come far too soon from those zombies. As officer glimpses Melanie in the vehicle after turning back, he becomes furious and points his gun at Melanie. He was thinking, if Melanie bites anyone, then he will also be converted into a zombie. As officer was going to kill Melanie, then teacher comes before Melanie saying, "Don't kill her. We will release her." Then teacher gets Melanie out of her vehicle. Melanie sits, moving at a distance. Doctor says to the officer, "Listen to me. I can make the vaccine through Melanie. We can cure the zombie's infection." Then officer again catches Melanie and places her on the vehicle, tying her with a kite. He also masks her with this. Going little far, they needed water, so they move near a stream, then many zombies attack them, coming there. There one of the soldiers is bitten by a zombie. That bitten soldier is forbidden to get in the vehicle by the officer. That soldier is also turned into a zombie. They begin to move outside soon from here. They were starting their car, but of no use. They have to go away on foot. They all reach in London. They need some edible things here. When officer sees through his binocular, there were large number of zombies out of the food shops. They were in motionless position. The officer says there, "We will go amid of these zombies and smear the cream on our body. For this, they will be unable to detect our human smell. Nor we talk with one another." Now they all reach a building while passing amid of those zombies. This building was quite abandoned. Melanie is bound here and the doctor was sitting before her. Melanie asks the doctor, "Who am I? From where have I come?" Doctor tells Melanie, when this disease had spread throughout the world, the lady who became expectant, her begotten kids are like you. It means the second generation of zombie. You have the ability of thinking. You can live in such an environment and you are my last hope. I want to make vaccine from you so that I may cure the whole world. After this, they all spend the whole time at this place. Next morning, they get ready to set out. There were many zombies who were sleeping. Melanie says, "Give me a chance. I move downward. I can remove all zombies from there." Doctor says, "In case we send her there, she has no cause to return back." Melanie says, "I will come back. I want to be one like all of you. I want to be a normal being." Melanie goes downward. Going downside, Melanie catches a dog from there. She takes that dog among zombies. A zombie wakes up with the smell of dog's flesh. After this, all zombies run after that dog. Due to this, the whole path is cleared. Then they come outside. They discover many dead bodies of zombies there. Some roots were growing from their bodies that they had taken a shape of a plant. That plant had wrapped the whole building. Doctor tells, it is the next stage of the parasitic fungus life cycle. There are also the large-sized seeds which will penetrate in the air. Consequently, whole humanity will be rooted out of the world. It denotes that no human will remain alive on Earth. They discover a military laboratory here which used to run on solar system. So they all had started to live in this laboratory. They all had the appetite, so they all have to manage the food. One of the soldiers says, "Who was with officer? I go to manage the food." And he goes outside to arrange food. Melanie says, "I also need food. I am smelling all of you. I have appetite." So Melanie is allowed to move outside. Moving outside, Melanie eats a bird after catching. Afterwards, Melanie hears some voices. She checks, moving into a house, that there were many kids like her. It means these kids were the next generation of the zombies. A child comes there who gesticulates all kids. All kids begin to move outside. Melanie had understood, seeing those kids as they were going to assault that soldier, who had moved outside to arrange food. Melanie runs to officer and teacher quickly. She informs them, "Coming there, soldier's life is at risk. There are many kids like me outside who have gone to haunt the soldier." On the other side, the same soldier is shown who went outside to manage food. He finds many food packs out of a store. There were the same kids as he enters the store. All kids victimize that soldier violently. Meanwhile, doctor, officer and Melanie had also approached there and understood that our partner had been entrapped. Melanie warns, "It is also trap." When she comes out of the store, then there were all hunter kids of soldier. Melanie mingles in the gathering of those kids, forbidding officer to fire the gun. There was a captain of these kids, holding a baseball bat. Melanie confronts with him. The handcuff stuck on Melanie's hand. She handcuffs that kid there very trickily. And she kills him with his baseball bat. All infected kids were feeling fear from Melanie. She brings teacher and officer to lab after rescuing, where they witness after coming that doctor had masked her face. And the toxic gas had spread in surroundings. That toxic gas had been spread by the doctor. They all lose their senses there. Doctor wanted to take Melanie's brain out so she may make the medicine. But Melanie was in her senses. She says, "I am faster than you. I will bite you if you try to show any shrewdness. And you will also be turned into a zombie." Doctor says, "Look. I just want to make vaccine from you. I want to cure all the people. Do you want that your favorite teacher may turn into a zombie in future?" Melanie says, "No. I don't want this." The doctor says, "You will have to sacrifice yourself for this." Melanie also agrees with this. Melanie asks the doctor, "Am I alive?" She answers, "Yeah, you are." Melanie had got the point that coming generation will be theirs, not the humans. Human beings had been rooted out completely. When parasitic fungus will be spread throughout the air, as a result, remaining humans will also come to an end. Hearing all, Melanie does not sacrifice herself. She instructs to the doctor, "Remain inside, then you will be secured." She goes outside later. Doctor also chases a Melanie. The same kids appear there, who had killed the soldier. And they end the doctor. Melanie goes to that place where big roots were sprouting from the bodies of the zombies. A plant was taking shape through this. There was a specific type of a seed on that plant. If it spread out the air, then the whole world will be eliminated. Now Melanie burns all those plant shoots so they stop sprouting. Officer also comes to Melanie. She says that, "Why did you come out of the laboratory? I had locked it properly." Melanie had burnt everything, so the air had become toxic. The officer had also infected. He gives Melanie a gun. "I wish to die as a human. Kill me with gun." Being agreed with the officer, Melanie fires her gun at him. Teacher is shown there in the laboratory, who is left shocked, glimpsing the outer sight. Next morning, Melanie had brought all the kids who is next generation. She controls all. In fact, these kids had never communicated with anyone. Now Melanie's teacher will teach all these kids as she did with Melanie. So these kids may get the ability to speak, read, and way of living in their lives. And here this film is end. Thanks for watching.